And she's my hero. I love my mom. She's an amazing person. I love her. She made me a warrior. And when I'm weak, every time I call her, she's like, what are you doing? That's not you. I raised someone strong. You can do this. So I think that helped me go through my first year and my second year as well. The support of my family, it's number one for me. It's amazing. It's amazing to have a beautiful family.
Clearly obvious that my restaurant is named after my mom. My retail launch is named after my mom. So for me, it's really easy for me to draw on that inspiration and to be kind of driven by that inspiration. My mom loved to cook. She loved having people over. And I grew up in a very segregated area of Chicago at a time where, you know, there wasn't a lot of mixing except in our house at dinner. There was always a bunch of different people from all over. And my restaurant, I like to feel like replicates that inspiration. The whole idea of just how she was able to do it without making anyone feel uncomfortable. It was never pretentious, but it was always a little gourmet, a little fancy, but she would simplify it by having people sit on the floor with plates on their laps because we didn't have enough chairs, or making something that was like a big stew that everyone shared in, and blender drinks, or things that just made everyone feel super comfortable the minute they walked in. And there was always room for the extra unexpected guest. She was a really amazing, very inspiring person. I feel very fortunate to have been brought up in that environment and to have had someone inspire me to that level. I have immense gratitude. I have a really awesome teenager. It's supposed to be a challenging part of their growth. It's supposed to push all your buttons, and more often than not, I say thank you. I have a really great kid. He's also inspired. He likes to cook. He likes to hang out with his mom, which most kids should find pretty embarrassing at his age. And he kind of challenges me to be a better person and to inspire others. Right. And for that, I'm really appreciative.
Yeah.
To my mother, I'd like to thank her for everything that she did. It was not the most gracious of relationships, but so I'd like to thank her for that. And I know that she never really understood what I did for work, but it's okay, Mom. We're doing just fine. And everything's good. My mother never had the opportunity to finish high school. And even though I had a lot of challenges with my mother growing up, a bunch of challenges growing up, and her opinion of the world was so different from mine, and she was able to make it through during really, really rough times. And she had a perseverance and a mindset that I think is really, really important and really undervalued. For my daughter, I would want her to know that she is not limited in what she can do. She should never let me be a limit. Granted, you'll have curfew, you're not going to be able to sneak out in the middle of the night. There's certain parameters that you'll have to live in, but don't necessarily defer or be limited by my own views, because the world is a very, very different place and will be in 20 years. So why are you letting an old lady like me tell you what you can and can't do? But you do have to do the laundry, you do have to clean the bathroom, and you do have certain responsibilities around the house.
So the basics. The core basics of life.
But don't be limited, and don't let me be that limiting thing for you.
I'll make sure not to show this to her until she's 21.
She'll be embarrassed by it. Just the thought of me doing this is just so embarrassing, because she's 12 and everything I do right now is just so embarrassing, which is just hilarious.
Well, my mother passed away, several years ago, and she's I didn't quite understand how much of an influence she's on me. She was probably one of the smartest women I knew, but she grew up in a time and place where girls were not sent to school. So she never finished high school. She could have been anything. She could have achieved so much. She always was learning. And I think that's where I got it from. Is she taught me that. But I think the thing that she taught me, and we talk about this all the time, but she taught us to enjoy the best things in life. Even if you don't have a lot, enjoy the best things in life. She taught us to celebrate life. If I could talk to her now, I would thank her for doing that. That just because you're not wealthy or you don't have a lot of, resources, doesn't mean you have to think like like you're in poverty. You can celebrate things and you can learn to celebrate life. My mother-in-law, she's amazing. She's this strong, strong woman. She celebrated her 80th birthday with us here in the US in the middle of winter. She'd never been in a place where it snowed, and she's just amazing, resilient person. In both of them, there's a lot of parallels between them. They both grew up in poor families, had to survive and stood by their husbands as they went through struggles. And it shows, and they're both women who in a different circumstance may have had careers and contributed in other ways. With what they had, they did tremendous work. And they both raised families that have gone on to do great things. All the children are successful, settled, doing great things, and that's a huge achievement to have done that.